Does this one simple change make your Harley Davidson motorcycle easier to shift?
Alright everybody, what is up, As always, thanks for stopping by to another video today. We are here with my 2022 Harley Davidson Softail Street Bob, and today we're going to run through just a quick, simple, customizable piece on this bike. That's a very simple change, but it might have a big impact with your shifting. So that's right, we are talking about the shift lever here on the Street Bob, not just the Street Bob, really any Harley Softail at this point, and the shift lever associated with those bikes. So as you can see, this is the stock shift lever here on the M8 Softails. It's kind of long. I've never really had too much of a problem with it, but I have been a little bit curious about some of the other aftermarket options out there. It is a little long and you do feel kind of a lot of flex in there. So I've been curious myself to see what a shorter shift lever might feel like. And that's why I'm excited for today's video. We're partnering with Nice CNC in today's video to replace the shift lever on my Softail Street Bob. And this is the new shift lever that we are going to put on from Nice CNC. So again, thanks to them for partnering on this video. They were nice enough to go ahead and send this out. As always, I will give my true and honest opinions of this from an install perspective, and once we get it out on the road and start riding with it, to really give kind of my honest opinion of what it's going to be like once you put this on your bike. Also, I will go ahead and drop the link to this specific item down in the description. Also, a little bit of a discount code and link for you guys as well from Nice CNC for some of my followers out there to receive a discount if you're interested in anything from their website. So first up, taking a look at the lever itself, it's obviously noticeably shorter than the stock lever here. I did measure these. The Nice CNC shift lever is coming in at around 7 inches. Now the stock lever, I measured that out, coming in at 10 inches. So this is actually going to be 3 inches shorter than your stock lever. One other cool difference here is you do have an Allen bolt adjustment that's going to allow you to actually adjust the shifter peg at the end of the lever. So you can bring it up, you can bring it forward, you can bring it down, you can bring it in closer. We'll give you a little bit of a look at that and how that is impacted once we actually throw it on. But let's go ahead and remove the stock lever and then we'll throw the new one on. These are very, very simple changes. I've already got some of the bolts here loosened up from the stock lever. You're just gonna need a couple of wrenches, hit the top and bottom. Again, I've already got this hand loose. We will go ahead, loosen that up, pull the bolt out, and then to get these off, you're just gonna kind of shimmy it out, pull it off of a little knob that's gonna be sticking out of the primary case here, and that gives you an idea of what that whole stock lever is gonna look like once it's off the bike. So of course, if we go ahead and compare these side by side or one on top of the other, you can really kind of see that 3-inch difference of the Nice CNC one on top here. The stock one also, the shift peg is rubber. This one is metal, just like the rest of the lever itself. And you do notice a little bit of a good weight savings and a weight difference there as well. This one being smaller and shorter is a little bit lighter also. So the Nice CNC lever also has these little rivets in here that are gonna match up to the rivets on this peg sticking out. That's gonna allow you to have kind of your adjustment to set it in wherever you need it, whether you need it higher or lower. That's how those are going to lock in. And then a little bit of a difference as well, you're going to have just one bolt with the Nice CNC lever. That's going to be 5/16 that we will ratchet down in just a second. So again, very simple to take these on and off. We've got the bolt pretty much all the way backed out. I'm going to go ahead and slide this onto the knob sticking out of the primary. Take a look at the placement. That's going to be way too low. We're going to have to pull this off here and lift it up just a little bit. So once you do have it in the place you think you're going to like it, you simply go ahead, slide that bolt back in, and then you're going to grab your 5/16 socket and go ahead and tighten it all the way down. Alright guys, so the modification of a shift lever is really as simple as that. Just a couple bolts, you're going to slide the old one off, slide a new one on, tighten it down. The good thing about that is these are so simple to put on. You really are going to be able to make adjustments pretty quickly. So if you feel like it's too low or it's too high, you're just going to be able to loosen it up, kind of flip and lock into those rivet spots and see where you need it exactly. So now that we have the new shift lever in place, you can kind of see where that mechanism of the adjustment of the actual peg can take place. It's just a simple Allen in the back. The peg can rise up, it can come more forward, it can come more down, it can come more back towards you. I have it in the most forward position, so we will see how that works for us. We're going to take the bike out in just a second and take it for a test ride and see how the new lever works. And then also, I just want to hop on the bike real quick. We'll pull it up off the kickstand and see where my foot kind of aligns with the shifter peg here. So we can kind of see we got a easy shift into neutral. Foot still flat on the floorboard. I can flip it up, press down to downshift, slide it back under to shift up into neutral again, shift up into second. Foot still comfortably on the floorboard, press it down. So it seems like I might have it in a pretty good position for myself right now. So we're gonna give this one a test on the street, take it for a ride, and then we might do any other minor adjustments if we need to. But this actually feels pretty good for me so far.
Alrighty guys, so we are out riding around on the bike now. I've actually put in quite a few miles since we swapped out this shifter arm. I've actually put in probably about 300 miles or so. Wanted to really put it through more paces than just giving like a first impression or something like that. Really wanted to put down a lot of miles to really see what I think of it. Kind of a little bit new positioning, a little bit of a new feel, but this gives you a little bit of a better look of it outside of the garage. Just give you a little look from here. Kind of this back angle gives you an idea. Take a look at it from up here. Down in front as well, kind of dirty out, a little wet and rainy today. A little bit of a look at it from the side. So I will say I am pretty pleased with it so far. I do like it. I like it from a looks perspective. We'll talk about function when we hop on the bike here, but just to give you guys another quick little look at this off of the bike. Again, here's the peg that is adjustable for my setup. I started with it a little more forward and I ended up raising it up to really make sure I get my whole foot, whole boot underneath there. And this angle and positioning seems to be working for me the best. So remember, you're going to be able to lift this up to wherever you want it, put it down, and then again the shifter peg is adjustable with this Allen bolt on the back. So now sitting on the bike gives you an idea of what it's going to look like from up here, give you an idea when I place my foot on my floorboards. I still have all the room and positioning to pretty much put my foot wherever I want, stretch it out if I'm cruising, things like that. So this is really kind of the main position that I keep it here. I will say I was riding with shoes for part of this on a couple other rides. Again, like I mentioned before, this peg right here is a hard metal compared to the rubber of the stock one. So that is noticeable when I was wearing shoes. This metal is really going to be noticeable on your big toe or the knuckle of that big toe, wherever you shift at. It's really going to kind of dive into that. So that's one thing to consider. I do like the rubber was a little bit easier on the foot. Now, once I did put my boots on and my other riding boots, I really noticed that the buffer kind of takes that away of a thicker boot. So just one thing to consider there. And so to get into a little bit more of the function of this, how it shifts, how it gets into neutral. I know a lot of people complain about how Harleys feel shifting into neutral. They can't find it, things like that. It takes time for the components to break in to easily find neutral. I've never really had a problem getting into neutral with any of my bikes, and I haven't really noticed any change one way or the other with this. So pulling the clutch, boom, popped right into neutral nice and easy. So whether that's a function of just the way the bike is, like I said, I never really had a problem with the stock one. This one is just the same. It feels good popping right in and out of neutral. Again, take it down into first, pop it right up into neutral. I've had no problems getting into neutral again with this new shifter arm and peg. Alrighty, so we got the bike fired up. We'll take it out on the road, tell you a little bit more of my thoughts on actually shifting through some of the gears with this new shifter arm from Nice CNC. Alrighty guys, so to get a little bit more into the actual experience of riding and actually shifting through gears and things like that with the new shift arm from Nice CNC, I will say the experience is somewhat similar to stock, but things that I have noticed that are a little bit different, being that the arm is shorter and a different material, a little bit of a stronger metal, it seems like. The shift is definitely a lot more firm and stiff. I think because the other one, the stock one, is a little bit longer. You do feel a little bit of flex in that, like when you're stepping on top of it, downshifting and things like that. It does give a very firm and positive click right into the gear, where sometimes I would notice with the stock one, like I did like accidentally slip into neutral sometimes, or didn't get it all the way up into second, and I don't know, sometimes it just felt a little bit softer. I think, like I said before, maybe just because it was longer and did have a little bit of flex to it as it was going through some of that range of motion. But like I showed you back in the garage, this one is about 3 inches shorter, so I think that does help reduce a little bit of that flex when it is a shorter lever like that. And then just another simple thing that I kind of noticed along the way is I do have to give it a little bit more effort when shifting up into the gears, I think, because again, like that leverage, it is a little bit more stiff, it is a little bit more firm. I got to give it just a little bit extra kick there just to kind of get it up, which I don't really mind. That's kind of how I like to go with it anyways. So again, just a very simple thing you can throw on your bike just to kind of customize it. Like I said, give yourself a little bit of a different shifting experience if that's something you're looking for. Again, some of those factors that I've kind of noticed is, again, the metal shift peg, something to consider. I'll probably be wearing boots a lot from here on out with this because it is such hard metal. Like I said, I was really kind of feeling it on my foot, but I like to ride with boots most of the time anyways. Very customizable and flexible with the way that you can kind of maneuver the peg itself and that little Allen bolt positioning. Again, flexible with how you position it onto that knob that goes into the primary. And then just, again, the final simple thing is I do notice that it does produce a little bit of a more firm and stiffer shift over the stock one. Again, a little smaller, a little less leverage. It does seem to be a little bit of a harder and firm metal as well, and I do also like the look. So pretty happy with this new shift lever from Nice CNC. I will be keeping it on the bike. I like the way it looks, like the positioning and flexibility of how it can be used and mounted on the bike as well. And of course, if you guys are interested in this item, I will have a link to it down in the description, along with a promo code for a little bit of savings for some of my followers through Nice CNC. Again, huge shout out to them for collaborating and partnering on this video. But that is going to go ahead and wrap this one up for now. As always, guys, make it a good one. Ride safe out there. It's the Moto John. We'll see you all on down the road. Peace.